Your brain is full of surprises. Here are 6 fascinating facts you probably didn't know. When you meet someone new, your brain instantly forms an impression, often influenced by one standout trait, like attractiveness, a warm smile, or confident posture. This is the halo effect, a cognitive bias where one positive characteristic creates an overall favorable impression, coloring your judgment of unrelated traits. The term halo effect was coined by psychologist Edward Thorndike in the 1920s, after he noticed commanding officers rated soldiers' physical appearance and personality traits similarly, even though these traits were unrelated. Since then, many studies have confirmed how pervasive this bias is. The halo effect doesn't just influence casual social interactions, it has profound implications in hiring, education, and politics. For example, research shows attractive job candidates are more likely to be hired and earn higher salaries, regardless of qualifications. In classrooms, teachers may unconsciously give better grades to students they find more likable or attractive. Politicians with charismatic appearances often gain more votes, even when their policies are less popular. Why does this happen? Our brains simplify complex social information quickly. When we see a positive trait, our minds automatically assume other positive qualities must be present. This shortcut saves time and effort but can lead to unfair or inaccurate judgments. Understanding the halo effect is crucial for making more objective decisions. By recognizing when this bias is at play, we can pause, gather more information, and avoid being misled by first impressions. Imagine walking down a busy street and suddenly witnessing someone collapse. You look around, but no one moves to help. This puzzling inaction is explained by the bystander effect, a social psychological phenomenon where individuals are less likely to offer help when others are present. The bystander effect was famously studied after the tragic murder of Kitty Genovese in 1964, where dozens of witnesses reportedly failed to intervene or call for help. Psychologists Bibb Latané and John Darley conducted experiments showing that the presence of others diffuses responsibility. Each person assumes someone else will act, leading to collective inaction. This diffusion of responsibility is compounded by social influence. People look to others for cues on how to behave. If no one else reacts, individuals interpret the situation as less urgent or assume intervention is unnecessary. However, the bystander effect isn't absolute. Studies show if a bystander is singled out or directly addressed, for example, "You please call 911, then they feel a heightened sense of personal responsibility and are much more likely to help. The bystander effect reveals how our brains are wired for social conformity and shared responsibility, but also how these mechanisms can fail in emergencies. Awareness of this effect can empower us to overcome hesitation and take decisive action when it matters most. Have you ever agreed to a small favor only to find yourself later saying yes to a much bigger request? This is the foot-in-the-door technique, a powerful psychological strategy used in persuasion and influence. The technique works by first asking for a small, easily granted favor. Once someone agrees, they are more likely to comply with a larger request later. This happens because our brains strive for consistency in attitudes and behaviors. After saying yes once, we want to maintain that self-image of being cooperative or helpful. This method was first demonstrated in a classic 1966 study by psychologists Jonathan Friedman and Scott Fraser. They asked homeowners to put a small sign in their window supporting safe driving. Weeks later, when asked to place a large, more obtrusive billboard in their yard, those who agreed to the small sign were significantly more likely to comply. The foot-in-the-door technique is widely used in sales, marketing, fundraising, and negotiations. Charities might first ask you to sign a petition, then later request a donation. Salespeople might get you to try a free sample before pitching a full purchase. Understanding this technique helps you recognize when your decisions are being influenced and gives you the power to pause and evaluate before agreeing to bigger commitments. Have you ever been shocked to discover that your opinion isn't as popular as you thought? This is the false consensus effect, a cognitive bias where we overestimate how much others share our beliefs, values, and behaviors. This bias stems from our brain's tendency to use our own experiences and social circles as a reference point for what is normal. Because we often surround ourselves with like-minded people, it feels natural to assume our views are widely held. The false consensus effect can lead to social misunderstandings and conflicts. For example, If you believe a certain political stance is mainstream, you might be surprised or frustrated when others disagree. It can also cause people to feel isolated or alienated when their views are actually in the minority. This effect was first studied by social psychologist Lee Ross in the 1970s, who found people consistently overestimate the extent to which others agree with them on various issues. Recognizing the false consensus effect encourages humility and empathy. It reminds us that our perspective is just one among many, and that diversity of thought is the norm rather than the exception. Have you ever looked at a cloud and seen a face, or noticed a smiley face in the pattern of your morning toast? This curious phenomenon is called pareidolia, where the brain perceives familiar patterns, especially faces, in random or ambiguous stimuli. Pareidolia is deeply rooted in human evolution. Our ancestors needed to quickly identify faces and potential threats in their environment to survive. The brain's facial recognition system is so finely tuned that it sometimes sees faces where none exist. This tendency is so strong that even inanimate objects like car fronts or rock formations can appear to have eyes and mouths. Artists and designers often exploit pareidolia to create engaging visuals. Neuroscientific research shows that the fusiform face area, or FFA, in the brain is responsible for facial recognition. This area activates not only when we see real faces but also when we perceive face-like patterns. Pareidolia highlights the brain's remarkable ability to find meaning and familiarity in chaos. It's a reminder that perception is an active process shaped by both external stimuli and internal expectations. Have you ever found it hard to stop thinking about an unfinished task? This is the Zeigarnik Effect, a psychological phenomenon where incomplete or interrupted tasks are remembered better than completed ones. Named after Soviet psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, who observed waiters remembering unpaid orders better than paid ones, this effect reveals how our brains hold on to unfinished business. The Zeigarnik Effect occurs because incomplete tasks create a state of cognitive tension, or mental open loops. This tension keeps the task active in our working memory, making it harder to forget. While this can be motivating, pushing us to complete tasks, it can also cause stress and distraction if too many tasks remain unfinished. One effective way to manage this is by breaking large projects into smaller, manageable steps. Completing each step provides a sense of closure, reducing mental clutter and improving focus. Understanding the Zeigarnik Effect can help you harness your brain's natural tendencies to boost productivity and reduce anxiety. Our brains are endlessly fascinating, full of quirks and shortcuts that shape how we see the world and interact with others. From the halo effect to the Zeigarnik Effect, these 6 facts reveal just a glimpse of the incredible complexity inside your head. Next time you meet someone, face a decision, or notice your mind wandering, remember, your brain is working in mysterious and amazing ways, and now, you know a little more about how it all happens. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the human mind.